This is part 9 of a series on building a full-stack web application using Spring Boot and React, where you get to watch every line of code being written and a full app built from the scratch, step by step. If you're new, start watching from this video. Now, what do I do for the match page? I need a page component, first of all, right? In the pages, I'm going to create a new file called matchpage.js. And this is going to, basically, I'm going to copy the team page over here, and I'm going to tweak this, right? This is not going to be making a call to the team API anymore. It needs to make a call to the match API. I'm going to leave the use effects there because let it make a call, that's fine. And I'm going to hard code this to, actually, let me get rid of this on second thoughts. I don't need any of this stuff here. I need to think about what the URL of this thing is going to be, okay? What I'd like to do is make it be year-based. We talked about how we don't want to get all the matches off a team because that's going to be a lot. We want to at least group it by year. I want to say, get me all the matches off Sunrisers Hyderabad for the year 2019 or for the year 2020, okay? So the URL for this thing is something like this, right? This is the URL for getting the team information itself. So for getting all the matches of a team for a particular year, I can probably have it be something like this, matches/2019, okay? This is, I think this is fair. So it's also going to be a path segment. So it's going to be matches/year, and it is going to load the match component, match page component. All right, so I'm going to go to app.js, get rid of this, go to app.js, and here I'm going to add a new route, which is going to be, now here's a problem with the way I do this. I'm going to do it the wrong way, and then I'm going to show you the right way, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say match/matches/:year, all right? And I'm going to have this go to the match page. Okay, I'm going to fix this guy over here. I'm going to call this match page, and then I'm going to delete all this stuff, and then I'm going to just put a div over here so that we can see this loading. Okay, and then I'm going to have an h1 match page. Okay, now notice what happens if I were to leave it like this, right? I'm going to save this here. And then, of course, I need to import match page into app.js. It doesn't have it here. So I'm going to just copy this import and make this match page. Okay, so now we have the match page here. There is this route is for teams/team name, and this route is for teams/team name/matches/year. Now notice what happens if I do this, right? Sunrisers Hyderabad /matches/2019. Well, it's showing the match page, but notice here, it's also showing this guy. Why is that? That's because it is matching both, right? Now I need to have a switch. I need to say, okay, it has to choose either this one or this one. It cannot choose both. So I do that by importing a thing called switch, okay? Switch is again from React Router DOM. And now I can say inside the router, I can say switch and then close the switch over here. So it has to switch between one of the available routes. It can't just show everything that matches. Okay, this makes sense. But now notice what happens. If I do this, it's gone. It's actually picked the wrong one. It should have picked this guy, but it's actually picked this one, and it's not showing this one anymore. Well, the reason for that is because switch basically picks the first thing that matches, and it's matched this guy, okay? And it hasn't matched this guy because team/team name is available in the URL, right? Team/team name is available. So it doesn't care if it has matches/whatever else. It just picks it up and says, okay, this matches, so it is going to show team page. So in order to solve the problem, what you need to do is kind of move this at the top, okay? It has to match this if this whole thing matches. If not, then it can go over here. Now, if I save this, I'm going to get save, and now I'm going to get the match page. Okay, and if I just use this snippet of the URL, I'm going to get the team page. Okay, this is just like we wanted. But now comes the next question. Well, what is the data we're going to get, right? We have the match page and the team page, but now the match page needs match data. All right, so now we're going to go back to our Spring Boot and create a new controller which sends the match data. But first, I'm going to commit this, all right? So I'm going to say, what did we do here? We completed UI elements for team page. Okay, so we've got all of that ready. I'm going to commit this so that you can use this as like a checkpoint for where this is the current state of the code, right? Now let's go to our Java side of things. I'm going to close everything over here, and then I'm going to go to the team controller, right? So we have a team controller, which is looking at team/team name to get the team. All right, now we need to have a URL for getting the matches. I can possibly have a URL like this: team/team name /matches / maybe year. In this particular case, I'm not so much a fan of the year as a path param. I think it's better as a query param because it's a property that you're querying for. So it should basically be matches $year equals and then the year. I think it makes more sense because you can query by other parameters as well. Year is one of them. You could query by maybe who the umpire is. Maybe in the future, you never know. So I want to make that more flexible that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this method, which is going to return. It's going to return a list of match instances. Let's say get matches for team, and I'm going to make this a query param instead of a path param. All right, I'm going to have this still be a path variable. Team name is still going to be a path variable. But I'm going to accept a request param, which is the query parameter. Request param, and then this is going to be year. Okay, this is going to be an integer year. So I can pass int like this is 2015, 2016, whatever, and then it is going to return the list of matches which matches the team name and the year. Okay, now how do we get this information? Let me first import this and get request param from, well, list is from Java util list, match is from my model, and request param is from Spring Framework. Whatever, it's done the right thing, right? From Spring Framework Web. Okay, now I can get this information by calling the repository. Okay, I'm going to create a match repository and get that information from there. All right, so let's go to repository. There is a match repository already. I'm getting the latest match by team. Okay, this is good, but now I want all matches of a team by year. Okay, how is this going to work? Let's see. I can do something like this to get basically run the SQL query in the name, right? Put the SQL query in the name, kind of using this format. Okay, I need a list of matches. Get by team 1 or team 2. If it's a date, then I will need to have 2 dates passed in. Maybe have like a, here's what I'm thinking. You can have a contains, okay? You can say where date is between date 1 and date 2, okay? You can pass 2 date values, 2 date arguments and say, give me all teams where team 1 is team name 1, team 2 is team name 2, date is less than date 1 and date is greater than date 2. Okay, I can do that, but then I need to pass 2 dates. The input to the API is the year. So I'm going to have to create 2 date values out of it. I'm going to have this 1st Jan of that year and then 1st Jan of the next year. Those are going to be the 2 dates. I'm going to pass that in here like this. Let's see. Let's try it out. All right. So I'm going to go to the team controller. I'm going to have local date, start date is going to be, I think it's called, there's a local date, there's a static method which allows me to create a new local date. Let's see, what do we have? Off. Okay, so this is perfect. Local date dot off. I'm going to take the year, month is 1 and day is 1. Okay, so this is going to be the first date of the year. So let's say somebody passes in 2019, right? I'm going to get Jan 1st, 2019, and then I'm going to get the end date, local date, end date equals local date dot off. And then again, there's going to be year plus 1 and 1. Okay, so this is going to be Jan 1st of the next year. So I'm going to get the start date and the end date. Now we can pass those two to the match repository over here, and I can say get by team 1 or team 2 and date between two date information, two date arguments, and then I'll say order by date descending. Okay, this is really ugly. This is not you can't read this and understand what's going on, but I think it'll work. So you have get by team 1 or team 2. So I need to pass team 1 and team 2. Okay, get by this or this, and date between date 1 and date 2. Okay, so local date 1 and then local date 2. Okay, now I can get this, save this. I'm going to call this over here, right? So I'm going to say this dot match repository dot this method. Team 1 is going to be team name. Put this in a new line, right? Team name, and then start date, and then end date. Okay, and then I can return this, right? It's going to be a list of matches. Will this work? I have no idea. Let's see. So I'm basically, to summarize, I'm creating the start date of the year, I'm creating the end date of the year, and I'm using this kind of SQL-like method naming to say get by team 1 or team 2, which is basically what we did earlier, and date between as the new clause that we added. When you add a date between clause, it needs to take 2 arguments. One is the start date and one is the end date. Whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. It expects 2 arguments. And then order by date descending. Okay, oops. All right, let's see if this works. I'm going to restart Spring Boot instance. And then let's make a call to our API. So what's our API? The URL is team name / matches, and then the year query param. Okay, it's team name / matches, and then question mark, year equals, let's say 2018. Okay, this didn't quite work. It's showing 2020 as well. Why is that? Oh, I know why. Okay, so this is Delhi Capitals, right? So notice here, team 1 is always Delhi Capitals. You see this? What's happening here is operator precedence. Okay, so you have an or and an and. So it's basically saying get by team 1 or get by team 2 and date between. There's operator precedence that's happening. So what we need to do is get by team 1 and date between, or team 2 and date between. You don't want to put that for a method name, right? You see what I'm saying? So it's basically doing it's matching, it's returning matches if team 1 is matching or team 2 and date between is matching. Okay, we don't want that. So the way to fix this is by doing team 1. Let me fix this and show you. I think we might have another problem here. Let's do this. Okay, team 1 and date between, or team 2 and date between. Okay, let's see this. I think we're going to have another problem in that local date is not supported by JPA, I believe. We might have to put a converter in there. Let's see. Refresh the page. Oh, I'm going to have to update the team name there. It's going to get a compiler error, the method name. So I'm going to go here and update this. And of course, I have to change the order of this thing. I'm going to have to add more parameters here. Okay, let me do this. So I'm going to do team 1 and date between. So it's basically going to be team 1 and 2 dates, and then team 2 and date between. So I'm going to have another 2 dates. Okay, because you have those many conditions. If you're thinking this is ridiculous, you're not alone. Okay, this is ridiculous. I'm just showing this to you for illustration. This kind of highlights the limitations of this kind of the query-like way of writing methods. There's an alternative for it, which is using the @query annotation and writing a named query. But I'm going to show you how this looks, okay, before we go to the more sensible way of doing things. All right, so I'm going to change this to this method name. I'm going to save, put this back to this guy over here. This is a method name. And then, of course, I'm going to pass this twice. Team name, start and end. Team name again, start and end. All right, save. And I'm going to launch this. It got terminated because of the compiler error. Okay, let's see if this works. I think it might still fail because it's not supported, maybe. Okay, this seems to be working fine. So you see, I'm getting 2018, and then is it going in reverse order? Yeah, seems to be going in reverse order. This is cool. 430, 427. Okay, so this seems to be doing it. Let's verify this. I'm going to do 2019, and then it should give me the 2019 matches. I'm going to go all the way down and make sure this is also 2019 of March. Okay, so I'm going to try one more, 2020, and I'm going to get this as well. Okay, so this is cool. So it is doing what you expect it to do. Okay, but this is not nice. It's not clean. It's not elegant. And I wouldn't honestly be happy even if we were to do the other thing that I talked about, right? Like have a default method here and call this thing. I don't know. This thing is way too bad to even do that. Maybe I can do this, but another alternative is to use like a query annotation and have it be like a named query. Okay, so I'm gonna try doing that just for learning purposes, just for illustration. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to comment this out so that it's still there, and then I'm going to create a new method, list of match. And then I'm going to call this get matches by team between dates. This is a fair name for this method, right? It's getting a match for a particular team between two dates. All right, so I'm going to call this, I'm going to give parameters, string team name. Okay, and then I'm going to have a local date, date start, and then I'm going to have a local date, date end. Okay, this is a sensible method, right? None of this nonsense. Okay, it's get matches by a certain team between two dates, and I'm giving the team name and the two dates. Okay, simple, it makes sense. Now, instead of trying to figure out what to do by using this crazy method name, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the query annotation to stick a query here. Okay, so this is me telling Spring JPA, well, I know exactly what you need to run. Okay, this is the query that you need to run, and this is the JPQL. So just run this and give me the matches, give me the instances that have resulted from this query. So makes it simpler, right? So I'm going to do a select M from match M. So this is going to give me all the matches. And now I'm going to say where team name can be in m.team1 or m.team2, right? So I'm going to say m.team1 equals team name, or m.team2 equals team name. Okay. So this is basically the equivalent of getting either by team 1 or team 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stick a param over here to tell that this team name is what needs to be substituted in this parameter, right? So I'm going to do add param of team name to tell JPQL, hey, pick this up from this guy. Close the quote here, right? And of course, import add param from Spring Data Repository query param. Okay, awesome. So this is going to give me the functionality that we did over here, of course, without the date descending. Okay, I can stick that in here and say order by date descending. Okay, so this is basically the same as what we did over here, right? Match where team 1 equals team name or team 2 equals team name. But now we need to do a little bit more. Okay, we need to also do date between date start and date end. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do for that. I'm going to put parameters for these guys as well. I'm going to say at param. This is going to be date start. And then I'm going to put an add param here for date end. Okay, and then let me make this a little bit nicer to read. All right, so I'm going to have team name, param date start, param date end, right? 3 parameters. This is my method. Okay, so here, what I'm going to do is, I'm not just going to get this, right? I'm going to, of course, close parentheses over here. So where team 1 equals team name or team 1 equals team name or team 2 equals team name is this criteria. And I'm also going to do and m.date between date start and date end, which are the 2 parameters that I have specified over here. Okay, that's what this query is. And then I'm going to say order by date descending. Now what I've done is I basically said, hey, Spring JPA, forget about the method names. I'm going to provide you the exact query that you need to run. Okay, and since I'm doing select M from match M, I know that what I'm going to get back is a list of matches, which is why this works. I can say list of match, and it's going to do this. What is the query? It's basically select star from match where team 1 equals team name or team 2 equals team name, and date between date start and date end. Now, since I have the parentheses over here between team 1 and team 2, you don't have that precedence issue that we talked about earlier, right? We faced earlier. So this should do it. Let's see if this works. I have a feeling this will work, but we'll see. So now what I'm going to do is I can replace this with this guy, get matches between dates, and now I just need to send once. Okay, because that's all I'm passing. I'm passing team name, start date, and end date. So this should work pretty much the same as before. So here I'm going to go refresh this page, and I should get, we have the date here. Let's see if it's sorted in reverse order. Yeah, that seems to be fine. I'm going to change this to 2017, and it is working just fine. So we have the match API now. Okay, it's going to a particular URL, and we're going to get the match API. Now, what's left to do is make that call from a React app. Okay, I'm going to say add match API in, I'm going to call this backend match API. All right, so here's a checkpoint if you want to follow along. So I have the match API. Now I'm going to go call this from React. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to my match page. And over here, I'm again going to use the same stuff that I did earlier, right? I'm going to use the events, the effects and the state. Okay, so I'm going to copy this thing over here. I'm going to use React, use effect and use state. And that's going to go in my match page. I already have that there, so that's cool. Now here, I'm going to first define the state. The state is going to be a list of matches, right? So I'm going to say const matches and then set matches equals use state. And then the default is going to be an empty array. Okay, I'm basically defining this is my state and this is the method that I can call to set that state. Okay, next I'm going to do use effect. And then again, the syntax is kind of the same thing. So let me see if I can copy this, right? I'm going to copy this use effect. All I need to do is change the kind of like the method name and the thing itself that's being fetched. So I'm going to paste this over here. And then in here, it's fetch matches is still going to work fine. And now I'm again going to hard code this so that we know that this works. And then I'm going to change this later, right? So I'm going to have this be Delhi capitals slash and then matches question mark here equals 2019. We're going to be getting this information from the path segment, right? But for now, this will do. Then I'm going to get the data and then I'm going to do set matches over here, right? So this is going to be set matches, and that's what is going to persist to the state. Okay, and this needs to change when the team name changes. Well, we don't have anything here, so I'm just going to remove this for now. And in the match page, I am going to ideally, I want this to be a different component and not the match detail card, but I'm just going to put the match detail card just to verify this for now, okay? So I'm going to say matches, curly brace, matches.map. Actually, I can copy this thing again, right? So I'm going to do this and then paste this thing here. It's not going to be team.matches anymore. It's just going to be matches, and I'm not going to slice the first one. I'm just going to do a simple map, and I'm going to pass match. I'm going to pass this to match detail card, and then team name is going to be a hard coded value. Okay, right now it's Delhi capitals. I'm going to just create a const team name equals Delhi capitals for now, and I'm going to inject that over here into the URL. Still hard coded, not a lot happening here. We're going to get this from the router next. Okay, so once I do this, I can pass the team name over here, and then why is this complaining? Yeah, we don't need this extra curly. Okay, now I'm doing matches.map, so it should work. This should work. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my terminal, make sure this is running. Okay, I'm going to go back to my React app, and then I'm going to do a /matches/2019. Well, the year really doesn't matter, but now I'm going to get the matches that have happened, and here are all the matches for 2019, right? It's making a call to the matches API that we've just created in the backend, and it is rendering all of the matches, okay? It is, again, hard-coded, so I can't change this parameter and have it do different things, but at least I know that it's making a call. Now, the next thing to do is to accept this from query parameters or from the URL, okay? I need to get the team name from the URL. I need to get the year from the URL, okay? So I'm going to do that next. What is the URL? We know that we are mapping this in app.js, okay? We are getting the team name and we're getting the year. So I just need to pluck that from the params, use params, just like we did here, right? So I'm going to get this guy here and stick that into the match page, okay? And this is going to be team name and then year. And now I can get rid of this hard-coded value, and I can actually put the year over here. So it's not going to be a hard-coded year as well. This is going to be the year that we have plucked from the URL. Okay, now if I were to load this, it is going to load 2019. If I were to make this 2020, it is going to load 2020 as all the Sunrisers Hyderabad matches. I'm going to go over here, and then again I can do /matches/2016, and it is going to load all the matches for Delhi Capitals in 2016. Awesome, isn't it? It was fairly simple. It was not a lot to do here. So now we have this overall structure of the app. We have the team page, we have the matches page. Now, what's really left to do is fine-tuning the UI. Okay, so we're going to be adding styling to the UI, and we're going to be adding some user experience elements, right? We want to have some kind of a homepage where you can see all the teams, and then navigate to like a specific team, and then click there, and then see all the matches, have a nice UI for it, and then be able to show important elements. Whereas right now, this thing doesn't show a lot of useful data, right? It just shows where the match was played, who won, and that was it, right? So I think there is a lot of value here to say who won the toss, what did they decide to do, and then who are the umpires. Remember, can't forget the umpires. So you're gonna add all of that to this thing. There's gonna be a lot of UI tweaking. So now next is to look at that UI elements, and try and make it look good and try and make it useful so that we can, if I want to know what a certain team did, what did they play, when did they win, when did they lose, I can actually go to this app and find that out. I want this to be useful. So we're going to do that next. I'm going to commit this because it acts as a checkpoint. If you're following along, I'm going to make this a commit message, add match page in React app. Just one file, but this should get you to the state of the code that we are in right now if you're following along. All right, let's move on to the next step.